But let me just give you a quick demo. Let's try. I got this report from Neopets. So this is how it looks like. So for the manual input, you have to remove these rows here, the necessary rows and columns, and just leave the header and the data. So it's gonna look like this, and you have to convert it into a CSV file. And then go to ANS configuration, look for, that one is for, I think, Neopets OpenX. So click manual input. This one is very simple and quick. Sorry, my internet is quite slow. Sorry, it's taking forever. Okay, so you have to upload the file here, select CSV file, and just map the header. So date for date, billable impressions, paid impressions, CPM, and revenue. And that's it. Submit. So once it is successful, you can go to tab guru page, and then you see it, HPMD total report. But I think this one has a problem with the credentials. That's why we're not able to upload the data successfully here. I think I've mentioned it to Mel and June earlier. But that's it. That's a simple way to fetch data. And the other option is the Google spreadsheet. This one is not difficult, but it requires you to create a separate spreadsheet. So, like for example, this one I got. I'll use another same example. Neopets OpenX. So I created a spreadsheet for this one here, and you'll have to create a credential for this publisher using Google Spreadsheets Network. This one. Select Google Spreadsheet, and then you select the publisher. I've already created a main account, Kian at Monetizma. So you can choose this one. You can select this email API, but you'll have to give access. You'll have to give Kian at Monetizma access to your spreadsheet. Otherwise, you won't be able to get the data from there. Or another option, you can make your sheet public, and then you can leave this field blank here, like what I did just for the sake of a demo. I just leave it blank, and I just made the spreadsheet public. And then you go to ANS configurator. You create a new configuration. Let me know, guys, if you have questions. Okay, just just help me.
Hope. While waiting for it, I have a
Yes.
question. So,
Yes.
in the previous screen, ANS credentials, it's not necessarily the email that has access to the account or OpenX, right? It has to be any email that has access to your spreadsheet.
Which this one you mean for the Google spreadsheet?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And I created the main account key at Mondays Max, so you have to give key that email and access to your spreadsheet.
I see. I see. So
Yeah.
for any ad network, not just
Otherwise, you
OpenX.
have yes any ad network.
Okay, got it.
So you don't have to create other you don't have to authorize any other account. You can just use the main account.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You can also authorize your own account, but then you'll have to yeah. It's a little bit I think a hassle for you guys if you have to create each account or
Yeah.
I, where is it? Okay, so here we are. So I think I've already created a configuration for this one. Let me just show you. This one. So here so I've created a config for Neopets OpenX. So here you select the publisher, and then once you've already created a credential, you'll see the spreadsheet network here, the drop-down list, and then here's the spreadsheet I created. So here's this one is important. So you'll have to have the header should be not necessarily the same name, but you'll have to enter the header name here in this parameter. For example, for date, you'll have to enter the header name here for the date. So that's date, and this one you can leave it blank. You can leave it as is. This is the default format for the date, and also for impressions, you can select paid impressions and then revenue. You enter the revenue header name here. So this one, you have the option to leave it blank or you can enter the header name. If you have ad request, you can enter the add request header name here, or you can leave it blank if you don't need it. Also, if you need to filter for example, a domain, you can use this filter header. So you just enter the header name and then the site to filter. So here you can header name and then the filter values. And the important thing is the spreadsheet ID, this one. So you have to select the spreadsheet ID here from here to here. This is the ID before the edit and after the spreadsheet /d. So this is your spreadsheet ID. You'll have to select this one and you'll have to enter it here. If you have multiple sheets or multiple tabs here, here. So for example, you have for the month of June here, and then another sheet for the month of July, you can select it here. You can enter the name of your sheet here. For this one, we only have one, so just enter the spreadsheet ID. That's the URL ID, and that's it. Then you can test it. That's for, this is July 6 to July 31. We can change the date here. July 6, July 30. Test. And you have your report here. And you'll see it also in Web Guru here. Now here. And you have your Neopets OpenX data here, impression and gross revenue. So it matches your spreadsheet here. That's it. Simple as that. Any question?
Yes, Hope, I have a question.
Sure.
So since we can create like kind of like additional column that would appear in the dashboard, like what's gonna happen with the other, say in the example you presented us, there's actually 2 OpenX, right? Is it,
which one?
can
Sorry.
we hide? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
In the example,
here there's 2 OpenX. You can delete the other
like,
one. It's just that I think you can just delete the configuration in a config.
Oh, so we actually have to delete the config to remove that column in the dashboard.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one, because this one I created this just to for the demo. But I can delete this after, and then you can do the same for your own configuration. Because I've created a new one. That's why you see 2 OpenX here. This one is just a sample. Yeah.
I have a question, Hope.
Yeah.
Is that going to be automatic if we will just going to add data on the spreadsheets, on the Google Sheets?
you'll have to, let's check. If you add data here,
Yes.
I think so. Yes, because I actually just put the URL ID, and then you just select the date, start and end date in the here in the configuration. It's the same. It's the same spreadsheet. So yes, you can add more rows here, more data here after this.
And it will going to show up in dashboard,
Yes.
even though we
Yes.
will just not going to do an ANS configuration.
Yes. No, you have to test it again. I think
Okay.
refresh
Thank you.
that. I think to refresh the PubGuru dashboard or PubGuru report.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey
I'm
Hope.
not totally entirely sure, but yes, I think so.
Hey
I
Hope.
haven't tested that one.
Oh, sorry. Hope, I have a
Yes.
follow-up question related to Roy's question. So, since we are using the spreadsheet, if let's say we separated the data for different months, and in the
Uh-huh.
sheet field you specify that, oh, I want this to pull up the data for August this time.
Yes.
Does that mean PubGuru
Yes.
will lose all those data for July because you specify that we want to show August only? If we are using the spreadsheet, I think it would be best to just use one tab instead of multiple tabs, so publishers can, let's say, I want to try or look at the numbers for last month, for example, so they can still see it on the PubGuru dashboard.
Well, actually, the best thing to do is just use the manual input. That's the easiest. But in case that doesn't work, this is the another other option.
Yeah.
But for the if you want to add for example for the next month, for the month of August, yeah, you can. It's up to you actually. You can just add it here after these rows. You can just use one sheet if you must.
Yep.
Up to you. Yeah.
I think that's what we should do if we go this route, like
Yep.
using a spreadsheet. So publishers can just toggle on, different dates,
Mm-hmm.
and the data will still be available. So we don't have to change the filters in ANS config anymore.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Oh,
I have another
question.
question. Go ahead.
Okay, this is just a reference to the
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, sorry.
You mentioned that for the manual upload, you mentioned a while ago that the reason it wasn't working because the credentials are incorrect. So just want to clarify, does it mean if
No, actually, the issue was here. Where was it? It's not exactly the login. It was that credentials for Neopets requires server domain API. That's why I asked Mikel to remove that one. We shouldn't require that in the credentials. That was the reason why we couldn't fetch the data successfully. The logins was correct. It was just that there was additional requirement for that credential.
Okay, but in case say we upload manually, do we need to have correct credentials for it to work?
Yes. Yes. Your credentials has to, it has to work. You have to have the correct credentials in order for it to work. Otherwise, you would just see zero results. Anyway, you'd see it in where is it? DB admin credential status. You see it there.
I see. Okay.
If your credential has an issue.
I think if there's an issue with the credentials, there's a notification that pops up on PubGuru dashboard as well.
Yeah, also. Yes,
Yeah.
also, yes. In account notification and also in your report here, for example. Here. Quick
Okay.
fix.
I thought we can work on the login doesn't work because it's a manual upload
Sorry,
credentials.
how's that?
So yeah. I just wanted to clarify because I saw it. Given that we upload the data, like the file manually, I thought we don't need the credentials anymore. So it
No,
seems
you
we
because you are actually uploading it using your configuration, which requires a login.
okay.
When you do manual input, you have to first create the configuration.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to select the publisher and the network and the login. That's why, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Hope.
Anything else?
Yeah. So Gino
Yeah.
typed
Yeah.
some
No,
message.
yes. Yeah, that's the priority, Jen. That's correct. You have to fix the fetchers, all the fetchers if possible. But yeah, at least now we have other options. If the fetcher doesn't work, we can do manual input and we can do the Google spreadsheet. You can use the Google spreadsheet fetcher.
Yeah, I think moving forward, because we have to log the times we had to use manual input or Google spreadsheets, since we may have we may run into problems later, like for debugging a fetcher, but it turns out that this particular publisher was using a manual input, and we don't get to see the immediate results, so that might be a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, Question. Because if we're gonna follow that priority, how capable is our tool in terms of handling like simultaneous upload that would happen like on a certain time? Because if we do number two, which is to upload the CSV spreadsheets, that's gonna take up like memory as well. But if we do number three, then it's gonna fetch it somewhere. So it's a shared thing. So that's how I understand it. Would it cause some issues later on, like crashing or not being able to load the data quickly on the PubGuru dashboard?
I'm not sure about that, Jim. I'll have to check with the guys.
Yeah, I think with regards to memory, they are being stored on the cache level, so I don't think it shouldn't take too much. But yep, I think the um, the problem with this is number two. You have to confirm with a specific format, and if that format is changed, you may have to adjust all
Yes.
other subsequent uploads.
Mm.
And the third one, since it's fetching from an external resource, it shouldn't take some memory space, but other computing power.
Yeah, and also because like what if I have like a whole year worth of data for that particular ad network? So I would say, or I would assume that it's gonna take some time for it to upload, and um, basically I'm not sure as well if up to how long we could retain it until such time that we get to fix the fetchers.
Yeah, so I think it would be a good practice to limit it to a monthly reporting. So for at least 30 days, 31 days.
Yes, I would like to, I think, ask the rest of ad-ops as well if, which option would you guys prefer? Would it be number two or number three? because currently I'm just foreseeing that we might encounter issues with number two, because if we're gonna like create different uh, like sheets to upload each month, then that means that the publisher could not view historical data for the previous months.
Mark, I suggest that we go with the Google spreadsheet. That way, I think we can just simply look it up to our existing sheets, if that would be possible. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. And besides, if we could share the spreadsheets for those publishers who doesn't want to share credentials, then it's it's easy to for them to update it as well.
Yeah, because if you upload a lot of CSV file, I think that will take you hours to do it. Like for a lot of publishers that we have right now. So yeah, I think it's more automated if we can just use the Google Sheets. And I also have one more question. Actually, this goes to you, Mark and Emmeline. Since we have this feature ready, so we can expect that the onboarding process will be much faster because we can do it manually. Do we have a timeline as to we can? So does this mean that most of the publishers that we have, if not all, will be passing QC, and we can have them all use at the anytime from now?
Yeah, for those publishers with remaining one adnet because of um, their API access or no fetchers for adnet, then we could tag them as past QC already. We'll just review them first if all data matches, and then we'll try uploading the data, and then we'll see if all data shows accurately, and then we could automatically tag you on the tracker so that you get to be notified through email.
Perfect. Thanks, Mark.
Welcome.
Jean, I have a question. So, in terms of the priority level, we resort to manual input after if the fetcher is not working. The reason behind that is because as soon as the fetcher works, it will just override the manual input, right? But with the Google spreadsheet, it won't, even if the fetcher is already working. So we need to set up the ANS credential, or I mean the ANS configuration again, or modify the settings.
Yep, I think in terms of that being overwritten, I guess we have to check it every now and then if we have an existing fetcher, if we have an existing ANS config. So we will just have to switch them. Either we use number one or number three. But if a fetcher seems to be okay and it passed some quality check, we can disable the Google Spreadsheets configuration.
Got it. And then every time our staff would like do manual input or upload a Google spreadsheet because a fetcher is not working, do we have to create a ticket for that or no need?
No need for that, but it would be nice if we can track that activity. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, if possible, a spreadsheet might do. So if we can audit them later.
In terms of tracking, sorry, I'm just trying to understand. So, when tracking, do we need Mark's team to manually track it, or is there a way for the dev team to pull up the report from the back end?
Right now, there is no automated way of doing that, but for now, we can resort to manual tracking.
Okay.
All right. I think what we can do from our end for the PubGuru QC, we could utilize the tracker wherein every time the AdOps or PGHB specialists reach out for manual upload, we could like put like a number there. We could add another column and put number for manual uploads, and so that we could identify how many manual uploads we have.
Definitely, exactly, Mark.
One last thing. So, manual input, we use that if the fetcher has been working for a while and it stopped working for a little bit. Let's say, oh, unexpectedly this fetcher just stopped working. So we're gonna resort to manual input for now. But the Google spreadsheet, we use this if we're not expecting that this fetcher will be built soon. Is that right?
Yep. I think we can draft guidelines or an SOP for this. Since there we have to consider various use cases like what if the fetcher is not really broken but discrepant in some fields? So that's something that we have to look for. Yep, I think we can produce an SOP document for this.
Got it. Mark, was that clear? So if there's a fetcher built, we can just do manual input if something's not working or something's broken. But if there's no fetcher at all, and we don't foresee the fetcher to be built soon, we can resort to the Google spreadsheet instead.
We can work with that guideline for now.
I have it noted. That's what we'll implement.
Okay. Thanks, Jin.
Okie dokie. Anything else, guys? Any more questions? Nope.
Nope.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you guys for joining the meeting. So,
Thanks, Hope.
do you have anything else to say?
Thanks, Hope.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Hope.
Bye.
Bye.